Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending upon where you're connecting from. I'm Ira Feldman. I'm the tinyML Managing Director, and I welcome you to today's talk related to our pedestrian detection hackathon. We will hear about the AITRIOS Intelligent Vision System today, so I'm very excited. And before we start, I'd like to thank all our tinyML strategic partners who make this and other activities possible. So I'd like to thank them all. We'll share more information about them at the end. And just a reminder, we have the tinyML EMEA event coming up at the end of June 26th to 28th in Amsterdam. The schedule is there on the website. Registration is open. Discounted registration ends by the end of the month. So if you're going to join us, please do register, and we look forward to seeing everyone there. It should be an excellent event. In terms of the Pedestrian Safety Hackathon, we have numerous resources for people who are interested in participating. This is the first of 3 webinars on development kits, and we have Infineon on May 10th and BrainChip on May 18th. We'll also announce some others along with office hours and Ask the Expert sessions. So please stay tuned for those. In terms of the schedule for the hackathon, the proposal optional checkpoint is coming up shortly on May 19th. And just a reminder, everyone, the deadline is September 15th for your final submissions. And once again, you can access the contest platform at this link or through our website. But this is the link for the contest platform. We're working with the ITU, which is a UN agency, as part of their AI for Good platform. So you can access everything there. And with that, I would like to introduce our presenter today, Yu Kitamura from Sony Semiconductor Solutions America. He's a business development manager based in Seattle, Washington, and he has over 20 years of experience in industrial camera systems, including security IP cameras, remote content distribution, machine vision cameras, and drone cameras. And with that, I will turn it over to you, Yu.
Thank you, Ira. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So today, I'm going to talk about the Sony's new visual AI solution for smart cities. I'm Yu Kitamura, business development manager based in Seattle, United States. Background of me is I've been working for this the variety of the industrial commercial the camera system products, including security IP cameras or machine visions or drones or different type of the camera system. So I have a quite good knowledge of the camera related technologies and then this vision, computer vision as AI things. Now, today's agenda is just start with the recap of the hackathon kickoff event held last week or 2 weeks ago, and then move into the introduction of the AITRIOS, Sony's new edge visual AI solution, and I'm going to talk about the Devkit introduction, and then lastly we are going to have the Q&A session here. So let's start. Starting with the recap of the kickoff webinar, so we have the San Jose City office talking about their challenge in their city management. So their problem statement is here. So they talk about the increased number of the fatality of the pedestrian in the United States. Actually, they talk about also the worldwide scale in the same kind of the trend. And the challenge of them is to minimize this pedestrian or traffic fatality toward this 2030 with a vision of the vision 0. And they share some of the places where the fatal accidents have happened before. It was interesting to hear that not only the intersection having this fatality accident, but also actually in between these intersections, there are some places where you have a lot of the fatal accident happening. That means to properly assess the risk of this fatal accident in city scale, you need to monitor not only the intersection, but also other places between in these intersections, which means you need a lot of the places to monitor, a lot of the sensors you need, which is why they talk about the criteria of this application for this winner should support these criteria. The percentage of the pedestrian classification correctly identified, this is the analytics capability. So of course, it is better to have a high accurate pedestrian detection under the different lighting conditions or weather conditions they talk about. And also the minimize this false negative. And they also talk about the flexibility on installation locations. Mainly talking about the mounting on the pole in the different areas. So flexibility is one of the key because you need to cover quite different type of locations. And they talk about the cost. There are some elements of the cost. One is the equipment BOM cost. The other one is the installation labor cost, as well as the maintenance labor cost. And lastly, they talk about the response time is needed to take immediate action when it's needed. So any of the hackathon applicants should consider these elements, these points in mind to develop the solution. Now, let's talk about the sensor type you might use for this hackathon. I just list up here typical smart city sensor deployment type in this page. So the first one is a non-vision sensor. So you might use some specific sensor. It could be the kind of like a radar system. It could be like acoustic system, or microwave, and whatever type of radar can be used. So this is non-vision sensor. So that's first thing. And that needs to be connected to the cloud to collect the data. Second system is the camera and AI edge appliance. It's often the case that the security IP camera is used in this kind of the system, and you take out the IP video stream back to the AI edge appliance, and then process the video there to generate the stats or to detect the pedestrian. Again, the data needs to be transfer over the network to the cloud. And what I like to introduce today is the vision sensor from Sony. In this system, you have the vision sensor AITRIOS, we call AITRIOS solution, enable device at the site, and that's it. Not having any additional equipment for generating the stats. And then again, the data can be transferred to the cloud. And I'm going to talk about here the AITRIOS solution in terms of the AI capability and how flexible the installation is, cost element, how the system is complex, that is directly correlated to the system cost, And then the maintenance, how easy the maintenance is. And lastly, the privacy part, because everybody is talking about the privacy nowadays. Before we start, the reason why we talk about this vision sensing from Sony, what do you think of when you hear the company name Sony? You might think of maybe the PlayStations or Bravia TV, Sony Music, or Sony Pictures movies. Those kind of things is all from Sony business. But the one thing which is interesting business in Sony is we make semiconductor. And what kind of the semiconductor do we make is image sensor, which is the semiconductor which capture the optical image, optical information, converted to the digital signal. So any type of the digital camera in the world, from smartphone or the commercial use security cameras, IoT factory machine vision cameras, or the medical cameras, they all use this image sensor devices. And Sony has been developing this image sensor for last almost 50 years. And most of the time, number one market share approximately over the 50%, most of the categories, which is why any new cutting edge, the fundamental technology has been developed by Sony related to this image sensor, and then introduced to the market for the last 50 years. That's the reason why we think about now people start to use the image for the AI analytics. What can we do as the largest image sensor company in the world to support this trend, to help people to develop this solution more easily at an affordable price? Looking at the challenge in the industries, the current methods, which I talk about, is mostly the second type of the system, so cameras and the edge AI appliance. So you normally use the streaming cameras, and then you use the backend processing system involved in the GPUs, CPUs, and those things. And to configure the system, obviously the network is going to be more complex, and you use more devices with a higher power processing system, so you use more power. Sometimes the video cannot be transferred over the network, so it involves the latency. And a lot of the privacy concern is the growing in the society now. That's what we observe for the current system. And lastly, one of the biggest challenges if you deploy this kind of the visual AI system in large scale, it involves a lot of the cost. So that's the industry challenge. And what Sony tried to do is to provide a new type of the solution to tackle to this challenge, which is what we call AITRIOS. We start with what we are good at, which is image sensor. So as you can see here on the fingertip, this is the newly developed image sensor, called IMX 500. In the end, this kind of the visual AI, what do you need to do? You capture the image and you process the image. And any kind of the system in the world now is actually, these two are separately handled. You work as a system though. What one of the Sony crazy engineers think of, what if we just combine this image capture and image processing into one chip? That makes it this analytics much more smooth and streamlined. And then they developed actually. With the knowledge of the 50 years image sensor development, they developed a new sensor capturing the image and AI processing embedded into one chip here. Using this new chip, you can create the much more small and the low profile simple device which can focus on the image captured and analyzed. And combined with the sensor-enabled devices, Sony provides some cloud services to manage the AI models deploying to these devices. So these cloud services provide some of the functionality such as the conversion of the AI model to be fitted with the format, which can run on this the IMX500 image sensor, and the AI model being deployed to the cameras and manage the cameras. And even more than that, we are going to open this marketplace so that people can sell their own development AI model in the marketplace. So combining this IMX500 image sensor and this cloud services, we call this AITRIOS solution. So how does it work? So it works, you capture the image, and then right at the same time of the capturing the image, you process the image in the same chip, and then you can take out the AI inference results out of the sensor itself, and then handle this data as a metadata for the backend system. So that's how it works. If you like to take the image together, you can take the image. But if you don't like to take the image, you can configure just to have the metadata out of the sensor itself. Now, how much of the performance does this processor have? This is one of the example of the car detection Sony AITRIOS camera comparing to some specific AI processor embedded the device. So as you can see, the Sony camera can detect the car properly because of this embedded AI processor at the same time of the capturing. There is no delay of the detection and the bounding box of the display. You can see it's almost like saying, or even sometimes a better capability is ensured with this the processor. Let's have a look at another one. So this is the people's pose detection. So pose detection is a public available AI model, and for those who may have touched that, okay, pose detection, you might have some resources to have this level of the image and things, and that can be operated in chip itself. So you can have this output with a video, or you can have this metadata output. So that's how the AI can work on this chip. Talking about the installation. So this system is very easy to install. Firstly, as you can see here, and then I have this camera here. This is one of the camera from our device partners, which incorporate the IMX500 image sensor in it. So with this tiny format, compact size, lightweight, you can capture the image and the AI processing all in one in this unit. So minimum equipment to be installed. Well, actually, this is the only unit to be installed at the site. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever experienced any equipment on the pole. Now, this is some job. From my previous project, I've been installing a lot of the security cameras in the different environments. And one of the challenges is the security camera is a kind of like heavy duty. And you need to mount it on the pole. And you need on the ladders or some limited space areas. And you need to grab the device and then you need to screw it. This is very difficult and then actually sometimes dangerous. So if it's compact and lightweight, that is really, really helpful for installation. Actually, small is really beautiful in terms of the equipment installation on the pole. So this device, as you can see here, this is 1.7 ounce and 48 gram, only 48 gram. You can easily grab on one hand, easily install it. And it has IP network connectivity. So configuration can be done through the AITRIOS cloud. So you don't need to spend a lot of time on site. You just mount it. Configuration can be done from the network, including the AI model deployment. So that helps the installation, the installation time much shortened. Talking about the maintenance. So the goal of the maintenance or as well as the installation is minimize on-site visit and on-site time. So anything you can do remotely, that's a win. Nowadays, most of the equipment is actually much cheaper, even cheaper than this labor cost. So labor minimization is very important. Then the on-site visit is the biggest way to minimize the labor cost. With this AITRIOS system, you can monitor the device remotely through the cloud. You don't need to have any additional system. The AITRIOS cloud can monitor this, keep alive, check. And you can remotely deploy or update the AI model. If you change the AI model or if you retrain and update the AI model, you can make it remotely. And then you can also update the firmware when the function is updated. So that helps to minimize the on-site visit. Now, lastly, talking about the privacy protection. So here on the left-hand side, this is the conventional system. So you have the cameras and you transfer the image from the camera to edge appliance, or sometimes even upload to the cloud. In this system, you have the vulnerability of the privacy data erosion in many places, in the network and in the different type of the devices. Now, AITRIOS system, as you heard, the camera can output only the inference result, which means no personal identifiable information can be transferred from the camera to the cloud. So privacy data erosion risk is minimized. Also, not only the risk minimization, actually the workload to manage the personal identifiable information is a lot. I don't know how many of you are joining from Europe today. In Europe, they are more privacy concerned than any other part of the world. And then their legal requirement is more strict. And then I think as most of the world anyway, going to that direction. So the managing the personal identifiable information, you need to install a lot of the security system. You need to actually have the periodical audit. More workload and cost is involved. So not having the personal identifiable information contribute not only to reduce the risk of the privacy data erosion, but also reduce the cost. So that's the basic, key benefit of using the AITRIOS for visual AI sensing.
Parking space available. Parking space available in 100 meters on your left.
So, this is an example of how this vision system has the possibility to be used for the different type of the use case in the smart city context. That actually this one of the big benefits of using the vision system is you capture the more information compared to some dedicated, some specific sensor system. So with your AI you're going to develop, you can fully utilize this much more rich information to extract the necessary data and insight and information out of this vision information, which can help to support the variety of the use case for this city organization. So now wrapping up, so we talk about the three type of the potential system in the smart city sensor deployment. One is a non-vision sensor. The other one is a camera plus appliance, edge appliance. And the third is a Sony AITRIOS. So in the sensing and AI analytics capability, this is actually this all down to you, who are going to join this hackathon, what kind of the AI analytics you're going to make. So I think it's down to you, and we don't know what the AI capability it is. Because of your very tiny but powerful models, you could hit a very high accurate detection rate, even with the different the conditions. So I just leave it here. So it's an equal capability. You have the potential here. Now, for future use, obviously this cameras and vision system have more use case support. So in the end, instead of having the specific system here and there, having the system silo, you have a one system to support the multiple use case makes this maintenance and then the total cost of ownership much more smaller. So for future use, this has the benefit. The vision camera system has the benefit. Flexibility on the installation. So non-vision sensors, depending on the type of the sensors, it tend to be a little bit bulky size inside. And sometimes depending on the technology, you have some limited direction to set the system. It could be working the vertical, or sorry, the horizontally, or in line with the lanes and things. So the limited direction you might observe in some systems. The vision system, that's totally up to your AI model. So the no direction limitation. And for Sony system, in terms of the flexibility of the installation, because it's so small and compact, you can mount anywhere you like. So that's a plus for Sony system. Now, system cost, complexity, and cost. So the dedicated sensor, non-vision sensor system, or depends on where you buy it, but tend to be a little bit maybe more expensive than the other system. The camera plus appliance, okay, you need to buy cameras and you need to buy appliance. So they're a little bit more expensive than this single device. Maintenance, I talk about this, the firmware update or AI model update, that needs to be done remotely. A lot of the system I observe here is some systems have a remote update. Most of the times from the local network, but Sony AITRIOS one is the cloud update is native solution. So you can manage most of the configurations, the maintenance, and update from the remote cloud. Now, privacy concern things is one of the things, and then the privacy protection wise, vision sensor is a non-vision sensor is very good because there is no personal identifiable information. The camera plus appliance, you have a vulnerability of the privacy erosion. Sony AITRIOS, based on your configuration, you take out only the non-personal identifiable information out of the system. So that is the higher privacy protection. So that's it for the summary and the introduction of the AITRIOS, and I'm going to talk about the Devkit next. So for this hackathon challenge, we prepare some Devkits. So this is the picture of the Devkit. You have the cameras, and you have actually the Raspberry Pi, and also you have the data injection board. So if you have the video recording, you can inject the video into the system for your model development. And we provide the relevant softwares and cloud services access and the technical documentation. Now, the country this system is available is the following countries here. I'm very sorry for the inconvenience who doesn't live in these countries. We just actually introduced this solution in the United States just in the February, and then we just got to roll out to expand the country's coverage, but we are very early stage of the market introduction. So these are the countries we can provide a dev kit. How to apply? So we prepare for the submit application forms. Please submit the application form. How to develop in AI and convert it, make it run on the dev kit. So basically, you develop your AI model to be fitted with the requirement which can run on the AITRIOS system, which is the model needs to be TensorFlow Lite and the in-8 and a quantized model, and up to 8 megabytes including working memory, and specific layer supported. We can provide the more technical information when you apply for dev kit. And once you develop this model, then you deploy it to the device. Through this process, the AITRIOS converted and then packaging the model and deploying into the sensor itself. So that's how it works. Application, talking about applications, so we expect you to have some experience of the visual AI development several months. Also experience of using the Raspberry Pi. We don't have, so we provide a Raspberry Pi, but we expect you to use that without a specific Raspberry Pi, the introduction and technical support. And we need you to submit solution concept and planning of the development in the application form. Submission deadline, we set up two deadline here. The first deadline is May 19th, and the second deadline a little bit like 2 weeks later, June 2nd. And based on the dialogues and the applicants, we can deliver the dev kit in the following schedule here. So next step is if you like to learn more about this AITRIOS, you go to our website here. You can have more information here. And when you are ready to apply, then please request application form. Send the email to me, and please put this subject in this way, which helps me to not to miss your application. Okay, with that, I end this presentation, and let's have some question and answer time. Anybody has any question?
Yep. So let's work through the Q&A list. Let's see. So you've just talked about the process for applying to get a dev kit. So I will take that one off. Okay. And let's see. So there's a question about connectivity. I mean, so the person was asking, and maybe this was a general question, how does the cameras usually connect to the internet, or and more specifically, how does the dev kit connect to the internet?
Yes. So I think I said I think in this hackathon, realistically, it's better to use this dev kit. We prepare this standalone environment so that you can develop and then test and all these things in this the dev kit, with this dev kit, and then the partial services from the AITRIOS cloud. So most of the time, you don't need to send the data to the cloud system. You just keep developing using this dev kit. Then most of the time, you can work it on standalone environment.
Okay.
And then I can talk about this more technically when you apply. Yeah, obviously, okay. For the applicants, we provide additional technical the support webinar.
Okay. Okay. This was a question. Do you use convolutional neural networks? So
maybe Zach, or you like to? Actually, I have my colleagues joining in this call. Yeah, I don't know if Zach, you might take this question.
Yeah, as you show on this page. So yeah, we can let neural network run on our AIM500 AI sensor. So
okay.
Yeah.
This may be also a general question, because for the competition where we're open to having wired power, but for the example sensor you showed, would the power draw be low enough that you could actually use a either battery or solar without a dedicated, power line?
Yeah. So it's totally up to how the device is made. The example I show in this camera, this camera is developed by the company called Lucid Vision Lab, and this consumes 1 watt the power.
Okay, got it. Does your actual hardware have? It's asking whether your hardware has a neural network accelerator built in, or is, obviously it can run the TensorFlow Lite model, but is there any acceleration in there?
Yes, the AI processor embedded. Yes.
Okay. Okay. This one's a little specific, and is the AI compatible with GPT models? Which ones? What are the allowable hyperparameter ranges? Does the AI chip have compatibility with the NVIDIA CUDA program code? So I would assume the answer is, if those things are compatible with TensorFlow Lite, yes. But do you happen to know the answer to this specific question, or is this something that
no, I think that your answer is right. So the whatever AI model you develop needs to be the TensorFlow Lite, up to the 8 megabytes in size. So that's something, the specific requirement which can run on this IMX 500.
Okay. This is okay. There was a question about your unit, and I'm not sure if this is directly related to the contest, but does the API for your device have the ability for text overlay control? And
that is, I think, up to the device manufacturer's implementation. Architecture-wise, yes, you can put this text overlay on the video. Yes, that's possible.
Okay.
And then with the Raspberry Pi, you can do it.
Okay. Okay. So somebody's asking, do they need to do multiple separate proposal submissions? One is to get the dev kit from Sony, and one is for the competition. The answer is, what you're going to probably submit to the contest, the optional checkpoint, is quite close to what Sony is asking for. It could be the same thing. So you just need to separately apply to Sony so that they know that you are interested in their dev kit in specific. So, okay. Okay. There was a question about the cost of the camera. I think those commercial concerns, they can talk to you about that in general. Okay. And then a field of view of the camera, and I'm assuming there's a specific set of optics on the dev kit. Do you happen to know that, or?
I need to have a specific number of the dev kit, the camera view angle. I think it's approximately something like an 80-degree thing. So the exact, do you have any figures for that?
Okay. And then there was a question about, how does this AITRIOS solution compare with your own SP RentSense and HDR solution? I don't know your products, so I'm sorry if I'm. Yeah.
So I think you talk about the ExpressSense. The Sony's, like, since I have the IoT system. Yeah. So that system, we have both systems. So you could use ExpressSense for your developing the solution. If you like to use that way, combining the different sensors and the sensor fusions and things, that is easier. Maybe using this ExpressSense. AITRIOS is more focused on the vision part. So if you need a more powerful vision AI capability, then the AITRIOS is a better choice.
Okay. Just a reminder, we will link the information on all the dev kits and the resources on the resource page of the contest. So here is the contest page. I've put that in the chat for those people who are online now. Otherwise, you can just go to this URL and get information to connect with you and learn more about the AITRIOS dev kit. So, well, once again, this is the contest page, and then we have a forum group established where people can ask their questions and share notes and communicate with other people participating or interested in the challenge at the forums.tinyml.org. You'll see a tinyML Challenge 2023 category. And if you have general inquiries, not specific to the technology, not specific to the challenge, but general inquiries about the challenge, you can always reach out to Rosina. But I want to thank you and the Sony team for an excellent presentation and supporting this challenge with hardware and resources. So thank you. And then I'd like to thank all our sponsors and strategic partners who make this possible. So our executive strategic partners, Edge Impulse, Qualcomm AI Research, and Sentient. Our platinum strategic partners, Renesas, Sony, so thank you, Sony. Our gold strategic partners, Analog Devices, Arduino, ARM, Initera, Microsoft, SenseML, ST Microelectronics, Synaptics, and our silver strategic partners, AIZip, Compass, Greenwave Technologies, Gravity, IBM, Imagimob, Noda, NXP, OctoML, Polyen, Kixo, Schneider Electric, Silicon Labs, and TKDK InvenSense. And with that, I would like to thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at a future webinar on this hackathon, and we look forward to your great submissions. So have a great rest of your day. Thank you.